Let's be real, most people in IT treat security like an afterthought. They build the whole system and then call the cyber guys at the last minute to install the locks. In 2026, that is a guaranteed way to get your project killed. I have seen multi-million dollar transformations in the Middle East get frozen mid-air, not because the tech failed, because the security wasn't in the design DNA. Regulators don't care about your UI, they care about how you handle the risk at the foundation. Today, I am giving you the security by design playbook. We are moving from bolt-on security to built-in resilience. This is what separates the average engineer from a top 1% architect. It's about owning the risk before you even write a single line of code. If you can't design for defense, you shouldn't be designing for the cloud. The problem is, most people think security is a product you buy. It's not. It's a series of decisions you make. And the first, most critical decision starts at the very front door of your architecture, which is identity. In the olden days, we relied on the office walls, but in 2026, your office is anywhere with a Wi-Fi signal. That changes everything. If you are still relying on a VPN to keep people out, you've already lost the war. Stop thinking about the network as your border. In a cloud-first world, the network is fluid. If an attacker steals admin credential, they aren't breaking in, they are just logging in. This is why identity is your only real perimeter. We follow zero trust. Especially in banking, you treat each and every request like it's coming from an open internet cafe. MFA is the bare minimum. You need adaptive auth. If a developer logs in from Riyadh at 10 am, that's fine. But if they log in from a different continent at 3 am, the system should automatically challenge them. You aren't just protecting a server, you are protecting the context of the user. When you shrink the blast radius through least privilege, you finally start sleeping better at night. Once you have verified who's entering, the next question is, what are they touching? In our region, this isn't just a technical question, it's a matter of national law. Data is the new oil, but in the Middle East, it's also a highly regulated asset. Regulators are very clear in this. Residency is the first step. In regulated industries, data sovereignty isn't a choice, it's the law. The real question is who has the keys. Using the cloud provider's default encryption is like giving the bank the keys to your personal safe. To hit the gold standard, you need customer managed keys. Implement hold your own key, HYOK. Even if the provider is compromised, your data looks like digital junk to an attacker because you hold the decryption logic. We are even moving towards confidential computing where the data is encrypted while it's actually being processed in memory. It's the ghost key approach. Trust is earned through mathematics, not promises. When you show this level of depth to a regulator, they see an architect who understands that data isn't just an asset, it's a massive responsibility, and you are building for total ownership of your data's destiny. So the identity is locked down and the data is encrypted, but what happens if an attacker still gets inside? I always tell my teams to think like a shipbuilder. You have to assume that at some point a leak is going to happen. If a hacker hits a tiny web server and can reach your core database, you have built a glass house. Think about a submarine. When one section floods, they seal the doors so the whole ship doesn't sink. The biggest fear of any CISO is lateral movement. Your network must work like a submarine. We call it microsegmentation. Don't have just a public and private subnet. That's 2010 thinking. Isolate every application into its own trust zone. Use security groups as internal firewalls. If a hacker gets into your marketing site, they should be trapped there itself. They shouldn't even be able to ping the banking engine. By shrinking the attack surface, you turn a potential disaster into a minor cleanup job. In 2026, we don't trust the pipe, we trust the data packet. This level of isolation is what regulators mean when they talk about resilience. It's not about never being hit, it's about ensuring that when you are, the damage is localized. You are the architect of the invisible barriers that keep the enterprise afloat. This internal isolation is your insurance policy, but there is a front gate that most architects leave wide open even without realizing it: your APIs. In the world of open banking, your APIs are the product. Most modern breaches don't happen through a back door, they happen directly through the front door. If your endpoints are weak, your entire business is vulnerable. In 2026, your APIs are your bank. If an attacker changes a URL ID in the URL and suddenly they are looking at someone else's private data, this is very dangerous. It's called BOLA, Broken Object Level Authorization. You must use an API gateway as a hard requirement. It's your security guard handling rate limiting and authorization before a request even touches your backend. So the best advice is be stingy with your data. Implement OAuth 2.0 with strict scopes. A pro tip: add an anti-corruption layer. This ACL acts as a filter, sanitizing the incoming requests like a digital customs officer. Regulators love this because it proves that you are managing the integrity of the data, not just the flow. When you secure the API, you aren't just protecting an endpoint, you are protecting the brand's reputation and the customer's trust. So pay attention to the front gate or the vault stays open. Now, all these rules mean nothing if they aren't followed. In a high-speed environment, you can't rely on human memory. This is where we move from manual audits to continuous compliance. If your security policy is a PDF in a folder, it's already obsolete. In 2026, if your policy isn't in code, it doesn't exist. I have been in those 3-month audits where everyone is taking thousands of screenshots. It's a terrible way to work. The professional move is making the system audit itself through compliance as a code. Instead of manual checklist, we write a script. If a developer tries to launch a server without encryption, the system blocks automatically. This is how you scale. You move from checking the work to defining the work. By shifting left, testing security at the start of the pipeline, you save 80% of the cost of fixing bugs later. When you show a regulator a real-time dashboard instead of a static document, they see systemic resilience. Safety is now built into the engine, not just a sticker on the bumper. This is the maturity level boards are looking for. You are no longer a security policeman, you are a security enabler. Build the safe track so the business can run at full speed without failing off the cliff. Once you have automated the law, you have a solid foundation. But a great architect doesn't just play defense. I spend 10% of my time trying to break my own systems. If I don't try finding the hole, I guarantee someone else will. We have covered identity, sovereignty, segmentation, and automation. These aren't just technical choices, they are the pillars of trust. When you follow this playbook, you signal that you are a leader who understands the big picture. Your legacy as an architect won't be the features you delivered it. It will be the disasters that never happened because of your foresight. It's a position of immense value to the enterprise. Are you fixing your identity perimeter or automating the law? Let me know in the comments. I'm looking for builders in my circle. It's time to move past the console and into the strategy role. I'm Gokul and I'll see you in the next one. Let's keep building.